I'm currently sitting at 4,200 meters above sea level in a remote part of Himalayas, trying to time-lapse a peak just over there, which has 7,800 meters. This is a part of my personal project and a film that I'm making about the Sherpa culture. Guys, you have no idea how grateful I am to be here, to sit here, waiting for the time lapse, looking at these beautiful, over 7,000 meters tall mountains. And yeah, if I think about it, a few weeks ago, this project was just a dream, just an idea, and now it has turned into reality. I'm gonna wait for this time lapse to finish, and then I have to go back to the lodge because I have another morning shoot, and I'm gonna be documenting the lives of the nomadic yak herders in this area. So I'm gonna shoot with them in the morning and in the afternoon, and I'm gonna show you the behind the scenes out of that. Alright, morning shooting with the yak herders wrapped, and I'm really happy with the scenes that I captured. I love this organic way of filming, handheld, running around, not staging too much, just kind of capturing what's happening in front of you, sort of being a fly on the wall. Now, because the sun is high, I'm not going to be filming probably until the afternoon, but let's just talk about a few filmmaking and gear things. So first of all, I'm up here in the Kambachen for 2 nights. There's not a lot of electricity, and so I kind of had to be mindful of how many batteries I'm bringing so that these batteries will last for, the 2 days that I'm here basically. So I brought 3 V-mount batteries for my main camera, and one thing that can happen when you are in such a cold environment is that the batteries get depleted much faster. And so what I do overnight, I try to wrap the batteries in either my hoodie or socks or some sort of a, fabric and material that will keep them warm. And that way, hopefully, they won't discharge that fast and they will last longer. Second thing, guys, it's been tough filming behind the scenes because I'm here alone. So, focusing on the film and capturing the frames for the film, and then also thinking about how do I capture the behind the scenes, how do I capture some photos. But I've came up with a little system which I'm going to show you. I've put this little cheese plate from Bright Tangerine on my tripod, and then I can attach my phone on top of that. So I can basically just have my tripod, in different positions and let the camera on my phone rolling to capture those wide shots. And then I've also attached a GoPro to my main camera, but somehow the GoPro just turned off on me this morning, so I need to see what's happening. Maybe it's the cold, but it's an older GoPro 8. So yeah, but that way I can kind of get an interesting POV angle. So those are the 2 ways I'm currently trying to capture the BTS when I'm shooting, and then of course some product shots and so on. I definitely wish that next time I could bring extra person to help me with behind the scenes and with the YouTube, but this is what it is. This is how I'm starting this type of project, this, I guess, remote places, expedition stuff, which I really enjoy, and documenting the cultures. And currently, the resources only allow for me to be here. So I have to kind of be mindful of that, and I have to be creative with how I can document the whole process. Check this.
Yeah, check this.
In Nepal.
So I will try this
Yeah, try this one with ketchup, or also a little bit of salt.
with ketchup.
Yeah, you can put a little bit of ketchup. Yeah, like that.
And then salt on.
Yeah, a little bit of salt. So this is called bramborovi placky.
Yep.
And this is called skubanki. Good? You like it? Good morning, guys. So another day, another shoot. I'm getting ready to shoot a little more with the yak herders. And I've been just thinking how grateful I am, to be able to do this. And this expedition wouldn't be possible without the partners. One of the main partners of the expedition is Bright Tangerine. I'm sure that you're familiar with Bright Tangerine accessories, but basically they make high quality camera accessories, for rigging your cameras basically. Now the reason why I love working with Bright Tangerine, and we've been working for over a year together, is that their products are super high quality and they don't release products every time a new camera comes out. They do a lot of research and development so that when a product comes out, it's a good quality and it will probably last you 5 to 10 years. Now, they also have a great warranty. So if something happens to your product, you can send it back and they will either replace it or repair it. This is really important for me to be able to work with partners that have similar values and visions as I do. And Bright Tangerine is exactly that. They are part of 1% for the planet and they are anti-landfill. So they don't want their products, to end up in landfill after a few months or few years of use. That's why I'm really grateful to have them as a partner. And I've been putting their accessories to a good use. I have the top handle, I have the side handle, and I have the left wheel 3 base plate. These are the 3 main pieces that I'm using for this project. But I've used other products in the past, such as shoulder rig and so on. So now I'm gonna have a milk tea, which is a traditional thing here in Nepal, and I'm gonna go and shoot the yak herders one more time. And now just looking into the camera.
Camera masih there.
Alright guys, we have wrapped the last shoot with the yak herders. Now we're gonna have a breakfast and head back down to Ghunsa. But let me just quickly show you how I pack my camera into my bag. So basically, the only thing I have to do is I have to take off the top handle and the side handle, and then I can fit my camera here. So let me just show you. And here we go. Camera inside. Now I just cover this and I can close it. And so this way, as we are trekking, and when I see something nice, I can take out the camera and shoot immediately.
So from here to
Just got back to Ghunsa, and this is our lunch, guys. Dried frogs. So we made it back to Ghunsa. As you can see, I'm back in my room, and it took us only 3 hours. Usually it takes 4, but we were really fast. But it also means I'm really tired. And so now we're gonna have lunch, shower. I'm gonna back up the files. I'm gonna clean the gear, and then I'm probably gonna chill for the rest of the day.
to kurang je.
No, dek je.
Good morning, guys. Now it's around 10 a.m. and we just finished walking around the village with Ishi because today we want to film a traditional singing and dancing scene with some of the elder women of the village. Now we have found a space and we're going to shoot it probably around 4 or 5 p.m. But the challenge is the lighting situation inside the house. There's a lot of these, greenish bulbs, which I don't like. They look terrible on the skin. So I'll probably have to try to light the space a little bit with the little lights that I have available. Apart from that, in terms of the story, I was just going over the scenes that we have and the scenes that we have planned to shoot. And visually, I know that this is going to be a very strong film. Now, the key element is the interviews. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to guide Ishi and kind of provide him with the best practices on how to do interviews, to let people speak, don't jump into the conversation, keep the pause, when they finish a sentence, and so on. So hopefully when, I'll have all these interviews done and I'll have them translated, there's gonna be enough emotional information to make this story work. But yeah, it's kind of a full-on surrender mode right now and just going with the flow, which is also really nice. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And now I'm gonna start planning the lighting setup for the evening. And if you're wondering, this is my YouTube talking head setup for today, using a magic arm from iFootage and then just putting my phone on top of it. Guys, I just went for a run around the village. Man, running at 3,500 meters, that's something. I probably only did like a kilometer max and I'm already smoked. Whew. But it's definitely good training for the lungs. Okay guys, we are preparing to shoot the traditional dance, and as I said before, the space is quite tricky with the lighting. So what I'm doing is that I'm bringing two small lights that I have, warm color temperature around 3200 Kelvin, and then we will have two smaller lamps that Ishi found. So those will be kind of practical in the frame. And then I'm white balancing my camera to 4200 Kelvin so that the windows that are on this side look a little more bluish and we get that color contrast with the blue outside and then the yellow inside. Yeah, shooting on 20mm lens first, I think the whole performance, and then I'm gonna switch to 15mm and get some details. So hopefully it's gonna work out. Let's see. Hey guys, so now it's about 2:30 p.m. and the morning was very easy. After lunch we started going down to Fole, which is the village where we're gonna film the Buddhist lamas. And I'm just walking around now and scouting this area because just underneath Fole there's another village that has been abandoned due to, Sherpas moving into bigger cities and leaving the mountains. And I think that it's a perfect visual representation of what is happening. So I'm just walking around trying to find interesting angles so that tomorrow I can wake up really early and come here and get some kind of, early morning, blue hour, moody shots of these abandoned buildings to establish the tone of what is happening. Yeah, so just gonna walk around for a bit more and then gonna head back up to Fole, which is 15-minute walk, to have some boiled potatoes. Good morning guys, so now it's around 5:30 a.m. I've been walking around trying to capture some of these abandoned houses, you know, in that kind of blue hour type of lighting. And yeah, I got a few. I still have a few more to go. I've been also capturing this beautiful tree right behind me. Yeah, super happy with the results so far. And after this, we're gonna go and we're gonna film the Buddhist lamas and their ceremony. Right, guys, so I'm almost finished with the establishing shots of the empty houses, and I found some really good stuff. But one thing I want to talk about is how to expose properly. So I got this tip from my friend Nick, who's an incredible DP from KL. And basically he has a small HD monitor, and on the small HD monitor, on the more expensive ones, you can set your backlight to 0. So that means that you see the image exactly as the camera sees it. And so that's how he exposes. He has it always on 0, the backlight, so that way the monitor is not brighter than what the camera is actually seeing. And then he just looks at the monitoring LUT and judges the exposure by that. So with my Kinefinity monitor, I cannot set the backlight to 0, but I can set the brightness of the monitor to 10 or 20%. So what I've been doing is I've been keeping it on 20%, and I've been exposing based on the monitoring LUT on the monitor. And so far, the results are great. Whatever I film, if it looks good on the monitor, it will look good in the post-production when I put the LUT on it. So that's just a little quick tip. So we have just wrapped the shoot with the Buddhist lamas in their little temple that they have here in the village, and it was so beautiful, guys. They were chanting, hitting the gongs, bells, reading mantras, and they're gonna be doing it for a whole day, but we only got about 45 minutes with them, which was more than enough. I'm really happy with what I was able to capture, but I'm even happier that I was able to witness this and be a part of it, because normally this is not something they would let a foreigner do. But thanks to Ishi and his connections, because some of the lamas are his cousins, we were able to get access and yeah, just film this beautiful ceremony. So now is around 1:40, 1:50 p.m. I just had lunch, a lot of dal bhat, and just chilling in my room, because right now, you know, the sun is too high, so I can't really film anything. However, I wanted to talk about one thing, and that is that the film that I'm making here, it's a type of film I've never made before. Usually the films I do are very character driven, you know, you have a singular character, but this is different because I have more of a few archetype characters from the Sherpa culture, and I don't speak the language. So it's an experiment, you know, I'm kind of challenging myself to make a film that is a little more topic based and culture based, but also with having these character voices inside the film. And of course, it would be easier if I understand their answers, but because I don't, I'm really trying to focus on visual. So I'm really trying to put all my effort on visual storytelling and hoping that basically this film could be made even without the character voices and could be a beautiful visual piece into the, you know, like a visual window into the Sherpa culture. And if the answers that I get from those individual characters will be good, then I know that I have the recipe, you know, for a great film, great visuals, great emotional answers, and so on. But it's a risk. And, you know, as I said before, this is my own project that I fundraise for, and I'm also partially funding myself. And I've decided that it is a risk that is worth taking, because even if this film, for example, won't be as good as I imagine, you know, or as good as I hope for, then I'll definitely learn a lot. I'll learn much more making something I've never made before than creating something that I already know how to do. So yeah, it's about taking a risk and exploring kind of new ways of filmmaking, and hopefully the stuff that I'll make will be something that can touch, you know, people, both Sherpas and Western audience, and something that I can be proud of. Good morning, guys. So now it's around 6:20 a.m. and I just finished filming a video for Bright Tangerine, which is one of the main partners of this expedition. So a little social media piece. And now I'm just getting a little time lapse of this incredible mountain as the sun is coming out and hitting its peaks. After this, I'm gonna go film a quick interview with the Buddhist Lama. And then I think that's it for today. Then I'm gonna head back to Ghunsa and gonna spend 2 more days in Ghunsa doing a little bit more filming before I start heading down the mountain. What's the name of the cats?
取名名で。
取名的名字。
No, no
No
name.
name. We are going back to Ghunsa. Luckily, it's only 1 hour. But it started snowing, which is the first time here. It's kind of a mix of a snow and a rain, but unexpected. All right, guys, back in my Ghunsa room, and yeah, today was really good. We shot with the Lamas in the morning, did a little interview. I shot some content for one of the partners, Bright Tangerine, and then I also shot traditional carpet weaving, which was really beautiful. Can't wait to show you that. Now back in Ghunsa, and it's raining outside. It's around 1 p.m. So I think we're not gonna shoot anything else today. We were supposed to do a little interview, but probably we're just gonna leave that for tomorrow. And tomorrow is actually our last day here in Ghunsa, because the day after tomorrow I'll start heading down. Now just backing up, clean the gear and organize the room a little bit. And yeah, just gonna check the footage and probably chill for the rest of the day. Good morning, guys. So now it's around 9:20, 9:30 a.m. The snow outside is melting. It was quite surprising the amount of snow we got yesterday evening, but now it's slowly melting away. And this is my last day in Ghunsa. Tomorrow we're gonna start heading down. I wanted to film 2 more interviews here in the village today, but in the end I'll only film one with the uncle who's owning this place. The second one was gonna be with an elderly woman just down the road. But yesterday evening I was kind of sitting with my computer, looking over the footage, trying to put a small edit together, you know, just some scenes to see how stuff flows. And I've kind of decided that this film will be very visual, with a minimal voiceover, with minimal interviews. It's gonna be a lot of visual storytelling. And for that reason, the interviews that I'm gonna use have to be related to the characters that will be seen on the screen. This elderly woman, we haven't filmed with her a lot, just a traditional dance, and so I've decided not to include her voice in the film, but instead, tomorrow on the way down, we will stop by at the place where we filmed the carpet weaving, and we will interview that woman, because we have such a beautiful scene with her and she was a great character. So just a little bit of changes on the go. It feels quite strange that I'm leaving tomorrow, you know, as I've been here for 17 days and it went really slow, but at the same time now it feels like it went really fast. So it's difficult to describe the feelings that I'm currently going through, and I'll probably talk about this in a future video. But one thing that I really realized is that the obstacles and the struggles that I've encountered on the way have quite drastically shaped the film that I'll be editing. You know, I already have most of the footage, so I'm saying editing. And even though at times it was difficult to process, you know, what's happening, if I'm going in the right direction, struggling with not understanding the characters' answers, and so on. But now looking back at the experience that I've had, I know that thanks to these obstacles, I'll make a film that maybe I wouldn't make if I would understand the language. And I'm actually happy about it because it will be a very visual piece, as I said, and it forced me to really focus on visual storytelling, you know, to really focus on scenes and making sure that every scene that I shoot tells a story by itself without even needing an explanation with the voiceover. So, yeah, today is probably a first day where I feel really good about the stuff that I shot. And of course, I still need to start editing properly. But from the little peek on the footage I had yesterday and played with it a bit, I feel very confident that this will be a film that I can be proud of. And if not, then you have a proof that I said this, and that I was wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna keep packing, and yeah, then I'm gonna grab a camera and film the little interview with the uncle, and that's probably gonna be it for today.
제니 샤르파 티오디 타 샤르파스 제니 베야 미릭 두자 땅카 메메 온다다
Sempre kit on kito tu ki sempre kita chirang tu. Kito tu kaso si nale tetala ane lesa ni chang puto.
Alright guys, the shoot is wrapped and we are heading down to the mountain. Alright guys, I'm sitting at the lodge where we started the trek 20 days ago, and I can't believe that it's over. You know, it's officially a wrap. I'm not going to be filming anything else, and I'm just waiting for Ishi to come down. Then we're going to jump in the... there he is. And then I'm going to jump in the car and we're going to head to Daplajung and Kathmandu. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of material as I process the footage, as I start editing. I'm going to be doing a lot of, you know, reflections and the lessons that I've learned from this expedition. And all of that will be on Patreon. So if you would want to see a little bit more of a technical and behind-the-scenes filmmaking approach and the things that I've learned, then definitely check the Patreon out. There's a link in the description of this video. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next episode of Being a Filmmaker. Peace.